So welcome back to Yankee News. I'm at another protest in West Springfield, Massachusetts. Historical ground here, Shays Rebellion, fighting against real tyranny and taxation. And let's interview some protesters as to why they think the same thing's happening today. Don't forget to follow me on all platforms at yankeenews.1776. Thank you. Excuse me, ma'am. What brought you out here today?
I'm not talking to you. You're not asking questions. You're just spouting your own interests.
I'm asking questions. Would you like to answer? I'm wondering why you're out here today.
I think you are not giving people a chance to express their opinion, and I'd like to know what your opinion is.
I support Donald Trump in this current administration.
You do?
I do, yeah.
Well, you have other people, but good luck to you, young man, because you seem to be maybe in their 20s and so forth. So I wish for you a free, democratic America. That's
Okay.
it.
God bless you. Imagine you're out here protesting and you can't say why. That seems insane to me. It's absolutely insane. Excuse me, sir. I was wondering what brought you out here today. How's he a pedophile?
I have nothing to say right now, thanks.
So he's claiming somebody's a pedophile, but you can't say why. I think that's pretty crazy. Would you have anything you'd like to say, sir, about the protest out here?
This is called freedom of speech.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is called a democracy.
Yes.
This is not a dictatorship.
Absolutely, I agree with you. It isn't.
All I want is all the files to be released. If it's a Democrat that's a dirty pedophile, so be it. If it's a Republican, so be it. But if this is going on, it needs to be exposed, proven, and everybody needs to be handled in the appropriate way.
I agree with you, and I think it takes time to release the files. They're coming.
I just don't want them to forget about it. Too many times, the poor girls for decades now have been swept under the rug. I mean, these are somebody's daughters, and
I agree.
It's fucking horrible.
I agree.
So, yes, doesn't just have to do with Donald Trump. If there's other people involved with it, but one time, I mean, to have his name associated with that is just, to me, it's not right. The president and pedophile don't go hand in hand.
Absolutely, but I think so. People aren't looking; they're looking at the surface level, and they see these headlines coming out. Donald Trump friends Epstein, which again, to have a friend like that is obviously wrong. We can all agree. But he condemned Epstein back in 2009. He kicked him out of his country club Mar-a-Lago because he's flirting with a minor.
He did.
And recently, emails came out. Democrats are releasing these emails, and again, the surface level. You look at these emails as a regular person, you see, wow, Donald Trump was in a room with an hour with a victim. But if you actually look to see who that victim was, it was Virginia Giuffre, which condemned anything wroong about Donald Trump.
Yeah, she wrote a book. I'm familiar.
Exactly.
I'm familiar with all that. But if he was so innocent, he would just release all those documents, no holds barred. You would if you were innocent. I would if I was innocent. I'd say, look at these. Told you so. So if there's any kind of pushback on it, that means he's either protecting somebody else or he's protecting himself. And there's no reason for that. Me and you would be held to a certain accountability.
Yeah.
He needs to be held to a certain accountability. And it's nothing but love for my country. I just want the truth so we can all deal with it and move on.
I'm with you. I'm with you every step of the way. I do believe it takes time to release these because obviously we got to protect victims.
Sure, but
we have
I
to
don't want
protect
it to be-
people.
It's already
of course.
been decades so long. So who's if we don't address it, who's to say it's not going to be more decades? So let's keep it in the forefront and let's take care of these poor, what I heard, hundreds of girls that were abused.
Yeah, I mean, Pam Bondi claims there's thousands of terabytes of just disgustingness. And I think it's fair to say that Donald Trump has released more than any other president. He's
Okay, release them all.
Again, they're slowly doing it. Even Mike Johnson said it's going to be voted on the floor. They're going to vote about it when coming soon. The government just reopened, unfortunately, because they're fighting about it like rats. But
I hear what you're saying, and
Yeah.
I appreciate your side. I think you appreciate my side.
Absolutely.
And I think we're both on the same side.
yeah.
You know, once they release the things, if I have to come out with a sign saying I'm sorry, I was wrong, I will do it.
I respect that. You know,
Because I'm human.
Yeah.
But from what I see and all the evidence presented in front of me, I can come to some sort of conclusion, being a person with half a brain, what might be going on.
okay, I can respect that. I mean, I think to make the claim that he's a pedophile, I don't think there's enough evidence to say so. I think there's evidence that combats it, but I think it's wrong to hold that sign. But I respect that you said you'd come back out and say I'm sorry if it came out.
If
So
need be. Sure.
I respect that because many people wouldn't say that, especially over there. But I respect also you're able to speak your mind, and that's why I'm out here.
In my life, you've been wrong in your life. It's just, I'm sure the president has been wrong in his life. You stand up, say you're sorry, take the lumps, and move on.
So minus all the Epstein stuff, which we seem to agree on the most. we seem to agree on the most. Is there anything in this administration that he's doing policy-wise that you're against?
Oh, I don't want to get into politics. I'll stick with this for now, but thanks.
Fair enough. You have a great day.
too.
Pleasure
Thank
talking
you.
to you. Do you want to have a conversation, sure, sir? Because it seemed like you support what people are protesting here. I saw you shake someone's hand, so obviously you respect.
How old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
I'm a veteran too, by the way.
Thank you for your service. I got my hand full. I'll shake your hand after once I'm done.
No, you don't need to.
Thank you, though. Is there anything this administration has done that you're against?
Thanks, man. You have a great day.
Thanks, you as well. Or if you don't want to have a conversation, I'll gladly just respect the idea if you don't want to. Okay. Okay, I guess he's a part-time mime or something like that. Yeah.
That's a no.
Yeah, I guess so. He's visibly angry, it seems. Excuse me, I was wondering if you'd like to do an interview as to what brought you here today. No. All set? Okay. All right. Excuse me, ma'am. I was wondering if you'd like to do an interview as to what brought you out here today.
Oh,
I didn't mean to startle there. Yeah.
What brought me out today? Oh, I feel like I need to speak my piece. Let President Trump know that I'm not happy with what's going on. Don't care for the way ICE is handling our immigrants, and I guess all the other things that chaos is causing. So that's
Okay.
why I'm here.
Sure. So, in ICE immigration, is that one of your top issues that brings you out here today?
Truly, yes. I don't care the way people are being knocked to the ground and hurt and not given due process. So, yeah.
Right. So, do you believe that illegal immigrants and criminals should be deported?
I believe criminals should be deported, and I believe everybody should be given due process, whether they're criminals or whether they're immigrants. So, and
What-
I don't believe that's happening.
Right. What about civil violators, like people who cross the border illegally, which is a civil violation, so they can be deported, yet let's say they're not committing harsh crimes, but they're here legally, they're not paying taxes. Do you think people like those should be deported?
Again, I feel like if they given their due process and that's determined, then yes. I mean, if the decision is made, legally, then yes.
Okay. And when you say due process, who do you see being deported without due process?
I don't know all the intricacies of that, whether or not that's them going to court and having a lawyer speak for them, and then that determination is made via the court. I don't believe that ICE is supposed to make that determination based on, what they see during that day, so.
Right. So what ICE does is they have administrative warrants. So they go after people who are here legally, or they have deportation orders. So they go and they arrest them, detain them per se, and then they bring them to their hearings from immigration judges. So they're actually helping the system in a way where it's not clogging it, because our system is very clogged. We can't help everybody at once. We have so many people coming in the country, we can't help everybody. So we have to sift out these people who aren't supposed to be here. Like, for example, under the previous administration, they had millions of immigrants come across the border with no vetting whatsoever. So I believe they're actually going through and picking these people who aren't supposed to be here, and I think they're actually making the process more efficient. And they actually don't need a warrant from a judge to detain or arrest. They have administrative warrants, which gives them the authority to pick somebody up off the street who's here illegally, bring them to their hearings, and then the judge makes the decision whether they stay or not.
Right.
So I think ICE is actually doing a great job, and they actually target people who are trafficking drugs or human or children trafficking. You really don't see this happening. That's one of their main priorities. Is what they do is they're targeting criminals as their main priority, obviously. And you don't see any other federal agency being as efficient in that way. So do you believe that ICE should stick around?
So are you saying that all of the ICE, the places where they go at the Home Depot and in the farms, you're saying all those people are criminals?
They might not be criminals, but some of them may be, and some of them are. Well, they're all civil violators. They're not supposed to be here, and under United States Code 8. They're not allowed to be here, and they're actually able to be deported because they're breaking a civil violation. So they aren't given the same judicial rights that we have. So we go to different judges. They don't. They go to specific immigration judges because they have certain procedures they have to follow in order to, let's say, seek asylum or become a U.S. citizen here. So they have to go through a different process. And if they don't follow that process and they just cheat the system, they can be deported. It's the same thing like if I broke into your house, but I started cleaning your living room. Sure, I'm working. That's a good thing to do, but I broke in. I started off with something. You're not supposed to do that. So these people should be brought back.
That example doesn't make any sense to me. All I'm seeing are good people that are here They were able to come in and get some jobs. They were working hard. And I guess the promise, I think, from this administration was to deport the worst of the worst first. And I don't
Sure.
feel like that's being done. So that's really all I want to say on that
Yeah,
matter.
Trump did say he's going to target the criminals and the people who are the worst of the worst. Me, myself, I voted for Trump. I'm okay with mass deportation because, again, we had mass amnesty under the previous administration. So we have millions of people who are here. They're not putting money into the government. They're not putting money into things that me and you put money into because they pay sales tax. So when they purchase something across the counter, they pay, obviously, a sales tax like me and you do, but they don't have income tax. So they're actually a net negative on society. They actually take away more from the United States than they put in.
So if you get a paycheck, you don't pay taxes?
They don't, because many of them are paid under the table because they're not here legally. They don't have licenses. Some states do give them licenses.
Do you feel like there's a lot of Americans and U.S. citizens that want to work the jobs that they work for under the table?
Absolutely. If you look at landscaping jobs or roofing jobs, the majority of those people are white Americans. So people make the connotation of, oh,
And they're
Americans
getting paid
don't.
under the table?
Who's that?
Those white Americans?
Many of them, no. Many of them are being taxed because they are on the. Sure, there are Americans in this country that do get paid on the table, but many of them are not being paid under the table.
So if a farmer or a roofer is going to pay an immigrant under the table, why wouldn't he pay a white American or U.S. citizen under the table?
Because it's easier to track Americans. So let's say they're trying to pay me or you under the table. It's more likely the IRS finds out that they're doing that than if they're doing it to someone who's undocumented and has no record of being here whatsoever.
Well, I guess there's some reasoning to that, but all in all, what I'm seeing on TV are poor people who are trying to, have a better life and are, basically just trying to take care of themselves, and they're not being treated very kindly or right, for that matter.
Right. So, did you vote for Obama or Biden?
I vote for both.
Okay. How do you feel that they deported more people than Donald Trump did?
I feel like they did it the right way. We didn't see people masked without badges knocking people to the ground. So that's what I feel like. If I didn't see that, or if I saw people treated correctly, and based on all the things that you said,
Yeah.
those things, we didn't see that kind of craziness, chaos. So
I agree. Yeah, you didn't see them wearing masks, for example, but under Trump's administration, they're being hunted down. They're being targeted. There's hits being put out on them, but that wasn't happening under the Obama or Biden administration.
I don't believe that's true. And I don't believe, I believe people are masked. And if you're going to take somebody, then basically you need to show the reason why. That's like me putting a mask on and taking you because I have a mask and I've got ICE pretend uniform on, so I can take you. I mean, people need to be accountable for what they're doing. They should not be wearing masks. They should be having a warrant, and I don't think those things are happening.
They do have warrants. Forms 200 and 201 give the ICE the authority to have warrants from the administration, not a judge.
Again, that's not what I'm seeing. I don't see people being presented with the warrants.
They don't have to.
Uh,
So if you're a bystander, let's say there's an immigrant right here, an illegal immigrant, alien from Mexico, not supposed to be here. If he gets...
And your name is?
Nathan. Nathan.
This has been a great conversation, but I don't want to argue with you anymore. I am not happy with the situation, and that's really all I have to say about it. I think it could be done better. I think President Trump likes chaos, and that he's doing this to cause chaos and to cause people pain. And that's all in the end of what I want to say about this.
I respect your opinion. That's why I come out here is to have open dialogue and try to show people
Maybe
the
you wanna ask
opinion.
other people.
I absolutely will, yeah. So I come out here to show people this is the protesters who come out here to protest the administration and their ideas, and if they can really actually put some substance out here as to why they're here. Because I go to many protests, and there's people who can't say why. There's many people who can't back up their argument. In my opinion, I think if you're out here protesting, you should be able to back up an argument of why you're protesting the government.
I agree 100%. 100%. So let me ask you, are you okay with him knocking down the East Wing of the White House?
I don't see a huge issue with it. I think it's blown out of proportion. I think...
Do you think that he got the permits and all the things that he needed to get in order to make sure that asbestos wasn't going in the air, and he gave people fair warning that our history was going to be knocked down? Do you think he gave people fair warning?
I think...
Do you think that he skipped going through Congress and getting that approved? Do you think that was okay?
So I think he probably did go through certain procedures like you're supposed to. I believe he did. And I think that he went through certain like architects to figure out that it's going to be built properly, that they're not going to. I believe so. Yeah, I haven't seen anything that say otherwise. Yeah, because I see differently because obviously you can look at other presidents who have built like bowling alleys, like Nixon or Obama, like a basketball court. They spent taxpayer dollars doing that. He's spending his own money and his donors' money to build it.
That's what he says. The man who's lied how many times via the Washington Post. Does anybody believe what he says? Ask me, why is he protecting releasing the Epstein files?
He's not actually. So they've slowly released them under his administration here. So no other administration has released as many files as he has.
So he says. And everybody,
it's a fact. No, who else? Has Obama released any? Has Biden? No, so he's released more than both of them combined.
Well, I don't know that was even a request way back when.
They still had the documentation. The DOJ had the documentation, so they could have released it.
So right now, basically, he has an opportunity to release all of those. And the information that he gave all of his right-wing people was already documentation that had already come out. So, I mean, a big show. I mean, that's what this administration's all about, is being a big show and giving information that was already out. But what do you think about the emails, Jeffrey Epstein emails?
I think when you look at them on the cover, as someone who isn't informed on the Jeffrey Epstein case, I, like myself, was once not informed. I think people can read that and they can be persuaded by the Democrat Party. I think the whole reason why the Democrats released that was to make it seem like something else, which it isn't. If you look at the redacted name and if you line up the history of the timeline, that's Virginia Giuffre. And Virginia Giuffre worked at Mar-a-Lago in 2009. So she knew Trump. She knew Epstein because Epstein took her from Mar-a-Lago to, do his things that he did, which was obviously, we both know, is disgusting. And Virginia Giuffre said in her own book that Donald Trump was not a bad man. He did nothing wrong to her, and that she condemned anything that came out about him. And prosecutors actually came out and said too that Donald Trump was the only one that was open and willing to work with them 100%. He didn't even have to get subpoenaed. He said, anything you guys need, I will help you with.
Why is he holding back all this information then?
So one, you got to protect identities of victims. That is one point. And two, you can't just release all of it because, again, you have to sift through.
Is he a victim?
Donald Trump?
Yes, because they redacted all of his names out of their Epstein files.
I personally believe that Jeffrey Epstein was working with Mossad and the CIA, and I think he was running a blackmail operation. I think that anyone who he tried to blackmail was a victim. Yeah, and I do believe he tried blackmailing Donald Trump.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, Donald Trump's probably the biggest blackmailer. So, I mean,
how so?
All people live. These people kind of stick together. So,
but you see my point of they released the Democrats released this email, and like I said, on the cover, you look at it, you know nothing about the case. You say, "Wow, Donald Trump spent an hour with a woman." That's scary. I think that looks terrible. That looks really bad. But I think people who see it on the surface level and don't know anything about the case, like, I don't know if you knew who the redacted name was because the Democrats redacted it to make you think it's somebody else. This is old news. We know who that victim was, and she was not a victim to Donald Trump. She was a victim to Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, and I don't doubt that at all. But, birds of a feather stick together, and Epstein and Trump have been friends for a long time. So
he condemned Epstein, though. After Epstein was at Mar-a-Lago, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago because he was flirting with minors on his court.
Condemn somebody after the fact. So, I mean, listen, I have no faith in the man to do the right thing. So, again, we probably won't see eye to eye, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to speak to others. So
I hope they do. I hope they speak to me.
Nice to meet you, Nate.
Well, yeah, my hands are busy right now, but I'll shake your hand afterwards when I'm done. It was a pleasure talking to you.
No worries. Yep.
Excuse me, sir. What brought you out here today?
I've been listening to your conversation, and I believe that if you lose an argument, you're not going to publish that to wherever you publish your arguments. So I'm not confident that anything I say is going to be published.
In this sense, do you believe you're going to lose the argument or me?
You.
Why would I continue to walk through here if I lost one argument? I'm going to post everything here. So if you're afraid that I'm not going to post this conversation or edit it, it's not going to happen.
I'm not afraid of it. I just believe that you're not going to post it if you lose the argument.
Well, you and many viewers here, you can go to yankeenews.1776 and you can watch our full conversation on there.
Okay, post this one then.
Absolutely. Well, you didn't win that argument because you didn't indulge in a conversation. So, but that's what my case here is. I'm trying to just have open dialogue here. I'm going to post it whether you say something right or wrong or something I disagree with or agree with.
Okay, post this one then.
We didn't have any substance argument or discussion, but it's going to be posted, yeah. Man, what brought you out here today?
My sign says a lot.
Is Trump a lizard person or something there?
He's a snake. Look at all the things he's done. Bigotry, greed, intolerance, hate, censorship.
How has he censored people?
My boyfriend made this sign, so I wish you were here today because you'd have a good conversation with him.
Sure. Do you believe that Trump is racist?
Yes.
What has he done or said that's racist?
Well, the immigrants that they're picking up, they are racially profiling based on skin color and their accent. That's racism.
So how is it
It's
racist?
Democrats, and we're all different colors.
I think if you hate a certain group of people and they happen to be a certain races, that doesn't mean you're racist. So, I hate terrorists, but some of the terrorists are Muslim or white. I don't hate a certain race of the terrorists.
Well, I know some Muslim people, and they are the nicest people I have ever met. So you're
Many-
not gonna
many
say
are nice,
anything
yeah.
negative about that.
I definitely
I'm a
didn't.
Progressive Democrat, Zoran Mamdani. I totally support his efforts, and that's all I really have to say.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Zorn, what he wants, he's against, he's actually for defunding the police, and I think that's a very bad thing to do.
I disagree with that.
Or do you agree with defunding the police?
I have no comment on that.
Okay,
I don't really have an opinion. I don't know enough about that.
right. So you said Donald Trump is racist, which is a strong claim, so you obviously have something to back it up.
Well, it's all these other words.
Where are you from? I see Yankee News, but what is
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
I post on social media.
Oh,
She's not a fan of social media, as you can see. That's obvious. Well, so you said Donald Trump is rounding up certain types of immigrants. He's targeting Hispanic people, is your claim, but the majority of illegal immigrants who enter through the country are Hispanic. So I think that's just...
Targeting people with brown skin and people who have accents.
I've seen
Citizens
Australians.
as well.
What citizens have been deported?
I don't have specific examples.
When he built Mar-a-Lago in New Jersey, and then he had a lot, and they were a lot of minorities, and it's true they were probably a lot of Spanish, Jamaican. He did not pay those people. All the minorities that worked, he did not pay them. That is a fact.
So Mar-a-Lago is actually in Florida, but actually Donald Trump was one of the first people to hire black people because black people were not allowed to work in certain areas, and he actually hired black people. And for
How
that,
many black people?
I don't know the exact number, but he was one of the first businesses out there to hire black people on Mar-a-Lago.
So are you for Trump?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, well, get lost.
Do you think?
Lost? Oh, no, I don't even want to do anything to you at all. Goodbye.
I have
Okay.
I'm 83 years old.
And I respect that.
No, he's a bad, evil man. And there isn't one person here that won't say that he is.
I don't think he's evil.
I think
I
that
know, so get lost. Why
The-
cause
Okay.
trouble?
I'm trying to have open dialogue, ma'am.
Trump regime
With Trump?
and all of his cronies, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel.
Or Tulsi Gabbard or RFK Jr., former Democrats.
I'm drawing a blank on names. I think they're running the country. I don't think Trump knows what's going on. I mean, he's busy building a ballroom and going and having fun and collecting money. I don't think he really has a lot of ideas of what's going on. I think it's the regime running the country, to be honest with you.
I mean, he's doing more than Sleepy Joe. He's actually going out. He's taking planes. He's taking flights to other
supported
countries.
Joe Biden.
The man who was actually busing black children out of white schools when he was a senator.
Again, a lot of history I'm not familiar with.
So you don't know the history of Joe Biden being a racist senator.
I don't know the history of Joe Biden.
I think you should know if you support somebody.
I just got into
I
politics.
think you should not engage with them. It's a losing battle
I know.
with Trump.
Two years ago, I got involved in politics. Before that, I never paid any attention at all. So I really can't comment on the past. It's only the last couple of years.
So when you
Year
hear,
and a half, actually.
so I got one question for you here. So when you hear something come out about Donald Trump, let's say the news says he's racist or he's targeting immigrants, do you read the headline and just say he's racist, or do you actually look into what he's actually doing?
I don't watch the news. I listen to progressive channels.
Okay, so a more opinionated stuff.
I am a progressive Democrat, and I listen to progressive news because I believe I get the truth from that.
So what kind of sources do you listen to?
Dino Badala, Michelangelo Signorelli, John Fugelsang.
Okay, and what do they, sort of pump into your brain that makes you believe that Donald Trump's a racist?
Just tune into them sometime. Listen to a couple shows.
I tune into CNN and MSNBC, and I
No,
think what
you
they do
can't
is
listen
absolutely
to those.
terrible. Those
I
are
don't
progressive.
I don't listen to those. No, they're not. They
aren't progressive?
They're moderate or right wing now. They're going to all be right wing. So.
So you think we should
That's
be?
what they're doing.
So you think this country should be further left than CNN?
Independent media. Well, you're sort of independent media.
Okay, so you said, let me see your sign here, actually. Yeah, you said slanderous.
He has a huge sign in his yard. I wish you were here.
Yeah, I wish he was here too, because it seems like aren't
He-
really
he
backing
wouldn't
up
have a
any
good
substance.
argument. He knows his history. You want to talk with someone, he's the one to do it with, because I'm telling you, you'd have an amazing conversation with him. He knows.
I would love to. And don't you think if you're out here protesting a government that you should have some substance to your arguments?
No one's ever questioned me before at these protests. I'm just making a statement. This is my statement.
Right, but you're not answering my question. I'm asking, don't you think you should have an argument?
You can go talk to them.
Okay. I don't think she wants to talk to me over there. Have you changed your mind? I know you said you're willing to do a conversation if I post it, if I'm wrong. You made the claim. So again, so why are you out here protesting the current administration?
I answered that question before.
Did you? What did you say?
Asked and answered.
Sure. What are the cuts that you want stopped?
Healthcare cuts.
Okay. So can you give me an example of where in the bill, the provision that says that healthcare is being cut for who?
You know where it is.
So for healthcare for like illegal immigrants who aren't supposed to be here?
You know where it is. I don't have to tell you. You're very well informed.
Do you believe that illegal immigrants should receive healthcare?
You're very well informed. You don't need to know what cuts need to be stopped.
Do you believe that people who can work 40 hours a month, or who aren't working 40 hours a month but should still receive SNAP benefits?
What do you think?
I don't think they should. I think if they're able-bodied people and they can work, they should work.
Are you a news person?
What do you mean by that?
Are you a newsman?
I'm a journalist.
Well, why are you expressing your opinion if you're a journalist?
I'm a Republican journalist. Journalists can respect their opinions, or say their opinions. They do it all the time. I'm here for open dialogue, to hear other opinions, and to have open discussions. So that's why I'm out here. That's my journalism I do. So do you think that people who are able-bodied should be allowed to collect benefits without working?
It depends.
On what?
It depends on whether they're able to find a job or not.
So you think people who are able-bodied but can't find a job should be able to get free benefits?
Yeah, like unemployment, for instance.
Sure, but this is government benefits. Unemployment goes through, let's say, a previous job, or you do contact the government after, but you have to there's certain provisions you have to meet for that. So do you think someone who hasn't found a job in a month should still receive benefits? Or 2 months?
Unemployment benefits? Yeah.
What's the limit?
Whatever the state mandates.
But you realize that we're the ones who vote on what the mandate should be. We put them in office. So what do you think that mandate should be?
I haven't thought about it.
Okay. I mean, so you're out here protesting the government, but these cuts that are happening are for people who are able-bodied, who are able to work. There's to stop illegals from receiving health care or benefits. So how come you haven't looked into that if you're out here protesting the government?
No, the cuts are affecting people who can't afford their ACA benefits, their ACA insurance.
Sure. So what this is actually doing is make it more competitive for companies. So lower prices. There's going to be more lower prices because insurance companies can actually compete with each other. Before, it was against the government, which they couldn't do anything. And the ACA has been raising up in cost since Obama. In 2014 to 15, prices of Obamacare were rising up drastically, and they have been since then. So how do you feel that Obamacare has actually not been affordable, which is what it was claimed to be by the Democrats?
A lot more people were on insurance after ACA went into effect than before it went into effect. And a lot more people now cannot afford ACA because of the big ugly bill that was passed.
So the big beautiful bill actually has provisions that make tax breaks for elderly who are paying for health care. It actually gives more stipends for people to have more funding to afford some health care because the ACA isn't affordable, like you just said yourself. So these provisions in the bill that actually bring money to elderly, they actually stop illegals from being able to access health care, which is taking away from our government. They actually take away more money from the government than they put in. So how do you feel that this bill is actually protecting working and vulnerable Americans?
The bill is not protecting working and vulnerable Americans. It's hurting them.
How so? Prices aren't going to come up from the ACA.
Sure, they already have.
Well, sorry, the ACA, yes, prices came up, but from the big beautiful bill, prices are not going up.
For what?
The big beautiful bill, the one that you called ugly, is not raising medical costs.
It's raising insurance premiums.
And some insurance premiums will come up, but there's more insurance companies that are more willing to make them cheaper because they're competing with the other insurance companies. That's how it works. Well, that's free market.
How do you explain that the prices for how do you explain the premium prices going up so much.
These are big insurance companies that are able to take advantage and gouge other insurance companies that can actually afford to lower prices to compete with the big insurance organizations. They're doing that. So prices, you can find good prices, but you have to find them. You have to be able to get these prices.
And where do you think you can get these prices?
Other insurance companies don't go for these big companies that are willing to just take advantage of you. And there's big insurance companies that are taking advantage of you?
No, a little one that will charge the same for ACA benefits that they charged before this bill passed.
You can't charge the same for ACA benefits because, one, we were under a new procedure from Biden during COVID that made everything virtually free for healthcare. So we can't go exactly back to that because that was during a time where the country was down. People can actually afford these things, so we're actually making so they can pay back to what they were paying before. All it is doing is going to old prices that we were able to have before COVID. So Trump's first administration and the Obama administration, they're bringing back to the level prices of what they used to be. Not, I'm going to get my price for free, because obviously it shouldn't be for free for Americans who aren't putting anything into society.
The ACA allowed many more people to be able to afford health care.
Including illegals.
The ACA allowed many more people to afford health care, millions more. And now millions are going to not be able to afford it because of the big ugly bill.
And what's going to cause prices to go up? Because it seems like you're well versed on this.
What's going to cause prices to go up is because of provisions in the big ugly bill. And,
such as?
It's all over the news. I'm sure you know what it is. You're well versed in the facts. You choose to say the facts that fit your point of view, but you're well versed in the facts, so I'm sure you know what the facts are in this. And there are going to be millions more people who will not be able to afford health care. And because of that, the estimates are that 50,000 people per year will die because they won't be able to visit a doctor.
I think when you watch the news, you can come up with that. Of course, I think everyone watches the news, but I actually read provisions in the Big Beautiful Bill from the House committee that they posted online, which anyone can access. If you read the provisions of healthcare is not going up. They're actually taking away from, again, like I said, illegal immigrants who have received healthcare. They're taking away from people who are able-bodied and who can work and are taking advantage of government programs.
People who are able-bodied and can work still cannot afford the healthcare benefits.
Absolutely. I'm able-bodied and I work and I afford healthcare. I've had surgeries, and people can afford it. I know many people who afford healthcare based off of just being able-bodied people because they work.
Yes, but there are able-bodied people who work and they still cannot afford healthcare because of the big ugly bill.
And why do you not the big ugly bill, big beautiful bill? These people who are able-bodied and work, why don't you think they can afford it?
They have other expenses.
It sounds like a them problem. If you make life choices where you're making yourself poor or you're making yourself in debt, that's a you problem. You did that yourself. So why should the government bail you out if you're making bad decisions with your life?
That's something that you cannot support with facts.
How so?
You tell me. How do you support that with facts?
You just said it yourself. You said able-bodied people who work can't afford it because they have other expenses.
Yeah.
There you go. They can't afford it because they're making other expenses in their life that clearly aren't smart decisions. Because if you made
rent, like mortgage,
not like rent, making like decisions like loans, or you're purchasing things, lousy purchases, you're not buying the right things.
That's it?
Because there's able-bodied people like myself who don't work a high-class job and I can afford health care, and I have expenses like rent, a car loan, and I can afford all of these things. So people who have an able-bodied, and it may not be bad decisions, and let's say loans or debts or purchasing stupid things. It could also be you got a bad job, and that's a you problem, not a me problem, not a him problem. So we shouldn't be paying for other people who make bad decisions with their life.
Getting a bad job is a problem with the Trump administration.
How so?
I think you know how so.
He's bringing jobs back here from China and other countries for manufacturing, for example, like car companies who are manufacturing in other countries.
Unemployment has gone up under Trump.
Absolutely. Do you not see the record high inflation numbers that we've had on the previous administration? They're actually coming down.
No,
so slowly.
Inflation is going up.
Absolutely not. Inflation has come down under President Trump. Gas prices have come down under Donald Trump.
Inflation
so how do you?
has gone up under Donald Trump.
It absolutely has not. Inflation was down under Donald Trump's first administration and a second one.
No, inflation is up under Donald Trump. You're wrong about that.
How so?
You're just flat out wrong about that.
Really?
Yeah, really.
So where did you find that Donald Trump his inflation levels are high?
You can read it in the government statistics.
I don't think you're reading the proper stuff because you look, his inflation numbers are actually lower than Joe Biden's.
The inflation has gone up under Donald Trump. That's a fact.
So inflation has not gone up, for example, but under Biden, we had record number of inflation numbers, and we have not hit record numbers again because that would mean we've surpassed Joe Biden's, which we have not. And gas prices have come down. Do you know gas prices are down?
Gas prices are mainly a function of the world market prices that are set in the futures market.
The president can control that.
No, the president cannot control that.
Yes, they can, like taking away a pipeline like Joe Biden did.
That is only a small part of the supply. One pipeline. It's only a small part of the world's supply. It doesn't make much of a difference at all. But inflation has gone up under Trump, and if gas prices have gone down, it's not because of Donald Trump. It's in spite of Donald Trump.
It's in spite of Donald Trump? How does that work?
It's in spite of Donald Trump. And getting back to where we were before, why did you shift the conversation away from ACA healthcare?
Because everything you just said was inherently incorrect. I provided you sources from the big beautiful bill that actually are provisions in the bill that say that it's going to be cheaper because we're taking it away from illegal immigrants who take away from healthcare from our pockets where our taxpayer dollars go. And you said, I watch the news, you watch the news. So my source came directly from the bill itself. Your source came from the news. Do you see the what's wrong there? Do you see like you're coming from opinionated news? Mine are coming from the absolute document itself.
Did you read the whole document?
Not the whole document, but I read the provisions of healthcare. I read the provisions of tax cuts for just about every tax bracket, tax cuts for working people. So I've read provisions that are affecting me and affecting most Americans.
And so then you ought to know that ACA healthcare is unaffordable now to millions of people who previously were able to afford it before the big ugly bill.
So obviously, I think we can both agree that the ACA is not good. It would be nice to see a completely new healthcare program come out. I don't think Trump's going to do that, but I think that's something we can agree on, right?
No, the ACA healthcare was good.
No, it wasn't. It was terrible under Obama. It nonstop went up in price since he made the healthcare. You know, just about most Democrats and most Republicans would disagree with you on that.
That's not true. The ACA healthcare allowed millions of people who previously did not have health insurance to have health insurance, and now millions of people are not able to afford health insurance because of the big ugly bill.
What's better, having health insurance or having health insurance you can't? Or what's better, not having health insurance or having health insurance you can't afford? Health insurance you can't afford, right? You can't afford it, so that's probably worse. That's what happened under Obama. It gave everybody insurance, but eventually prices rose and rose and rose after he had that implemented. And like I said, most Democrats disagree with you. ACA is not good because if it was so good, why wouldn't they just say, let's keep pushing the ACA? No, they all keep pushing, let's have different healthcare programs, which they all push. They all want different healthcare programs. If that was not the case, then they would support ACA, which they do not.
ACA was a big step forward. It wasn't perfect, but it was a big step forward because it got a lot of people to afford healthcare who weren't able to afford it before.
It set us back, though.
No,
it's more expensive than it was when it first started. Even before the big beautiful bill, even before Donald Trump's first administration, the prices of that went up.
Everything's more expensive than when it started. Healthcare in general is much more expensive.
So what would you blame? Even under Obama, what would you blame for his healthcare becoming expensive? What did he do wrong?
Healthcare prices in general went up, which forced the premiums to go up. But
what did he do though that made it go up?
He didn't do anything that made it go up. But what he did was he made, with the ACA, he made it possible, and I've said this 5 times now, he made it possible for millions of people, millions of Americans, to afford health care who weren't previously able to afford it.
And I didn't deny that.
And now millions of people cannot afford their health care because of the big ugly bill. And it's all to pay for tax cuts to billionaires. It's preposterous.
I'm getting tax cuts, and so are you most likely from the big beautiful bill.
Yeah, but it's mostly tax cuts for billionaires.
No, it's not. Just about every single tax bracket is getting a tax break. Every single one. That means not just the billionaires. Almost every tax bracket is receiving one.
Yeah, but most of the tax money that's being saved is being saved by billionaires. The tax money that's being saved by an average earner is less per year than the tax money being saved by a billionaire.
Well, they obviously make more money than us, so 1% of theirs and 1% of ours is going to be completely different. But for example,
So
like
how's that fair? How's that fair that billionaires are getting more dollars taken off their taxes than regular working people? How's that fair?
we all earn our money and we should get what we earn? Are you saying that they should pay more just because they're rich?
That's how our tax system is supposed to work. That's how it has worked.
You do realize they already pay over 50% of all taxes in this country?
That's because they make a lot of money. That's how
Exactly.
our tax system works.
So you're saying they should pay over 60 or 70 or 80% of taxes?
I don't know how much they should pay, but you're mixing two statistics up. You're mixing up. One is that they pay over 50% of the taxes in the country, and now you're mixing that up with what percentage of taxes they should pay. They don't pay 60% tax.
I'm saying they pay over 50% of all taxes that are taxed.
Yeah,
according to the IRS.
That sentence, you imply that they pay 60% taxes, and that's not true.
I asked, do you think they should pay 60? I'm not saying they pay that. And for example, like cuts, so you're saying people who work overtime, no tax on overtime and no tax on tips, how would that affect the rich? That's actually affecting the working class.
No, because with tips, they were already making so little. The people who were making tips were making little enough money that no tax on tips is irrelevant to them.
They live off of tips. What are you talking about? That's what they do.
Yeah, they live off tips, but they don't generally pay taxes on their income because they don't make enough income to pay taxes. So the fact that there's no taxes on their tips means that there's no taxes on something there's already effectively no taxes on.
So one, they live off tips for one, and they're making enough money to be taxed. They are making enough money. And
they get full refunds.
What are you talking about?
They get refunds of their taxes.
Because they're cash tips, because the government doesn't see cash tips, right?
No, because they don't make enough money to be taxed.
They are taxed.
They're taxed, but they get refunds. They get refunds of their taxes because they don't make enough money to pay taxes on their income.
They're still being taxed, so some of their money is still going to the government. That doesn't mean that.
No.
Yes, it absolutely is.
No, the money is not, because they're getting their money. They're getting refunds.
How much money is
the
that?
Money they paid back.
How much money do you have to earn to not have to get taxes taken
I'm
out?
not an expert on the tax code.
Okay, so lower class is $30,000, and people who run off of tips and are servers and bartenders, they make $30,000 or $1,000 or more. So people are being taxed.
Where do you come up with that number?
Go to job statistics. Go to anything to correlate to taxes whatsoever. Go to IRS documentation. People who are making $30,000 are being taxed and not being refunded for their taxes. That's completely inaccurate.
That's not true.
So where do you see that? Where did you see that's not true?
It's not true because I've seen reports in the news about the analyses of it, and the no tax on tips is just it's just a public relations play.
Well, okay. Well, I respect your opinions out here. I'm glad we had an open discussion. I'm still posting this, whether you think I'm not or I'm not going to. Like you said earlier, you said if I lose an argument, I'm not going to post it. But I'm posting this conversation with everybody I had here today. So I respect your right to be out here, and I respect you for having an open dialogue discussion with me. So Thank you. Well, I mean, it's just, you see it every time I speak to people. I state IRS statistics. I state statistics from the big beautiful bill itself, from the actual House committee, and he's saying, I read the news, I watched the news. Do you watch the news? Everyone watches the news, but you should take it with a grain of salt. It's opinionated messages. So you should actually check what the news is telling you. You should check your facts, which he very clearly is not doing. But as you can see, like I said before, the average age of a protester is looking to be about 60 to 70. Even I saw an 80-year-old today. That's crazy. These people are triple my age or more. And the fact that you know, you see people this old, you see 3 or 4 people out here. This goes to show that the Democrats and the news like to tell you that there's millions of people out here protesting. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. I go to protests all the time. There's an average of 5 to 10, 12 people. Never more than that, not counting No Kings, which is funded by the Democrat Party, and people are paid to be there. These people can't defend anything, and it's honestly very sad. So as you can see, I just finished up the protest in West Springfield, Massachusetts. People continue to not be able to give substance to their arguments. People are out here wasting their time. People are protesting. They can't even say why they're protesting. That's insanity. But again, you can follow me on all platforms at yankeenews.1776. Thank you.